what movie were you talking about?
The Gorge. It's who's it got? It's got the guy from War Dogs, from the new Top Gun, Miles Teller.
Oh man, he's great.
Yeah, and then
He's a really good job.
I can't remember the other girl's
War Dogs
name.
is so good.
She's got some. She's like a model, I think, as well as a high fashion model, so like extra skinny. I can't remember her name, but she's a good actress. But it was basically they just, he's got nothing to lose, no family, blah blah blah. Former Marine.
What's it called?
The Gorge.
On Apple TV.
Yeah. All right. And so he gets picked up, and you want to watch it, or you want me to tell you about it? I guess that's.
I'll watch it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it in the next one then.
All right.
Yeah, because
it was pretty good. It was fun. It was a fun movie.
There's something else that he's in. What does it matter? I'm not going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
That I really liked, so I'm definitely going to watch it. That's good.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's kind of a love story, but it's
Yeah.
also just a fun, badass thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna explain that, so
I don't know where we're at, dude. That roof kicked my ass. I had a hard couple days. Yeah, real hard. A lot of note taking in the middle of being around people. I was not in the greatest mood, and as much as I love my family, it brings out a bitchiness side of me because we're all very bitchy. I don't want to say bitchy, but we are all like, I don't know. We're not all anything, right? Like we're all different, but I don't think it was nobody's fault of like how I was feeling and stuff other than my own. I overloaded, and everything overloaded the moment we got back from Colorado because I have a manic side to me to where it's like, I know that I want to be out there. I know that I want to figure out a way to make it work. And so my brain was like, okay, cool. All at once. Let's go. And it was like, I needed money coming in to keep working on this and to work on the tiny house. And you needed work and Quentin needed work. And like, so it was like, cool, I'll just take this one job. And then it turned into, hey, I'll take this other big job. And things are going great there. Like, frankly, I mean,
couldn't be going better so far.
Yeah, honestly.
Period.
There's like two things that are not great, but I did just like a side note, we are just going to put up paneling in the bathroom. So we're all good.
I like that.
That was his suggestion. He's like, oh, what if we just do this? And I was like, oh, thank God.
Well, like tongue and groove, shiplappy?
Not tongue and groove shiplappy, but like basically just like another sheet of drywall. But I'll probably just do plastic or something because it's in the bathroom. So it can just be spray washed. Make it easy for those guys.
I like that.
It's funny. Tyler was the one like, dude, you got to convince him of this. And I was like, he's not going to go for it. And then I called him and was telling him, he's like, what if we just did this? And I was like, oh, thank God, dude. You have no idea how bad they are.
You said it first.
I was like, Jesus, dude. Yeah. But I, for anybody who doesn't know, like I was going back to school, back to WCC to kind of wrap my brain around the history and just like the terminology behind what we talk about stuff when it comes to psychology and sociology and philosophy and all of this stuff. There's stuff that I'm interested in. I wanted to make sure that I was correct on using the right terminology and had the right history in my head and all of this stuff. And ultimately, all that comes down to is having the discipline to read and learn. But I needed some structure. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to school because I'm here right by WCC and it costs me, frankly, dick amounts of money. Like it doesn't really cost that much compared to other people's tuitions. And yeah, I got into it and I was like doing my math class and shit. And it was funny. And I think I told you this, but they were teaching about like, shark loans and like the get your check a week early, like all of this stuff and how bad it was, and like how they can, charge you a fucking 300% interest, which obviously all of that kind of stuff should be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Predatory.
yeah, get money now, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So you do problems and you're like, oh, well, explain why this is wrong, whatever. Basic entry math class. And then immediately after that, the next one is like talking about student loans and how you should get them and how this is how to calculate for them. And this is how to calculate how much interest you're going to have for the next 40 years
Of your life.
And it didn't matter like which way I was doing the problem. And like to negate to get rid of all of that bullshit, because I'm not going to talk about the problems, but like didn't matter what I did. I was struggling with it. And we had the 2 jobs going on, and I had B.A.D going on. And we talked about in our meetings and stuff, like we're trying to do something with B.A.D where we're giving it life, to where people can count on consistency. They can count on every week. We're going to launch the podcast on a Wednesday. We might eventually change that depending on how the analytics look, but we're all making posts. We're all making reels. We're all doing the Patreon stuff. Like everything, like we're trying to get caught back up for merchandise and like hats and cooler ideas for t-shirts and stuff. That's all coming, but we have a lot to like get ahead on before we can get further ahead to do our releases in time for seasonal releases and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, we're fighting a lot of other people who, like, I don't pay attention to that one bit, but there are a lot of companies people are stuck with, and we're trying to be something like, I want our clothing and I want our material. I want everything to be nice.
Yeah.
I want people to kind of look back at our stuff and be like, man, I really like buying that.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for the name. And in turn, that supports us. But I had all of that shit going on. And it was just fucking like, I mean, dude, I think, me and you were becoming better friends in the time period where I was still struggling to fucking get out of bed. I was still struggling to like, I would lay down in the shower until the fucking shower got ice cold, and like crawl back up. And like, I couldn't, like, there's parts of like, there were parts of my day that were paralyzing. And I felt it. And I was like, I laid down in the shower after the first day of working on the roof here. So for everybody to know, like we put a new roof on the house and podcast room, and it was a chore, but it was fun. But I was trying to do homework in the middle of that, and I was trying to work on B.A.D in the middle of that, and I'm trying to like figure out material lists for the for our customer, because we're picking out colors, we're picking out paint, we're picking out carpet, we're picking out like, and I'm trying to figure all that out on a time frame too, that like he's in a different country. And so I'm like scheduling emails and doing all that. And it's all part of this, right? Like that's what it takes. It takes every step. But I got to a point where it was like things began to start feeling like paralyzing again. I'm like doing my homework and I'm just like my mind's spinning. And I'm like trying to focus on a problem and I can't. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then I feel like, okay, I need to go lay down. Because throughout the years, like I've taught myself there's little tricks and stuff that I can do to help myself get out of things faster. I'm like, when you need to like sit down, close your eyes for 15 minutes, that's okay. Go do that. If it gets to the point where like I'm laying down in the shower, curled up still, I really hope that I don't have many more of those problems. But I at least know that like all I have to do is lean up and turn it cold and I can stand right back up. Like whatever, my body stops. And so I don't know, like that's when I got out and I got back into the office and I called Cass and I was like, I can't fucking do school on top of everything right now. And it felt like I was quitting because that was like the one thing I said. I was like, no, I can do all of it on top of what I'm doing now. but I just felt like I was getting scammed because I didn't go for a student loan or anything. It was just wild to me that after people get student loans, that you know they're gonna tell you about predatory loans and then not. So just felt like a huge scam. But yeah, I talked to Cass and I was like, I can't. She's like, look, I it has no difference if you go to school or not. What matters for what you want to do, you're not going to become a therapist. You're not going to become a philosopher. You're not going to study like all of the like what you want to do is learn and know more. And so all you have to do is do that. Like you have the access to the curriculums. You could just follow what they have and you're not going to have a teacher and you're not going to have the structure and the structure's there to force you. But then I called you and we talked about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped out this morning and it felt like I was quitting. But after talking to everybody, specifically you and Cass, like I could take every bit of money that's getting refunded and go buy whatever books that I want that'll go towards the subjects that I want.
Probably cheaper too, because those bookstores
they're like $200.
they're expensive just because.
Yeah,
they can, because you get a loan or you get a this.
Yeah, whatever. So I just wanted, the reason that I'm even bringing that up is because I'm not perfect by any means at any point in time. And I was struggling again, just like I was, and I was pushing myself back down this fucking spiral. And I've worked really hard for years to know when that spiral's coming. You can't always be like, oh, yep, it's coming. But you can catch it in the early stages if you continuously work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the times like where I was just completely crippled all day for days or weeks on end, those aren't there for me anymore because I use the tools to help me get through it. But and then on top of it, leaning on the people that I care about to help me figure out a different frame of mindset because I'm stuck in this. I feel like I'm quitting. I feel like I'm giving up on myself. Everything that like me and you talked about, everything I told everybody else I was doing, I'm now backtracking on, and that's not who I am. I'm somebody in my word, and I was like, but I'm doing this, and I'm like, I feel like there's a different way. Like I feel like I thought this was the way, and I thought, and I think there's a better way, and like you said, I'm gonna take that. At any point in time, when people are feeling just like crushed by everything around them, it truly only takes a couple small tools that you learn to snap out of it and at least just make one small step towards the right direction. Mine was 3 total things. It was going and closing my eyes for 15 minutes, even though I was struggling in the middle of a panic attack and just trying to breathe. It was hopping into a shower that, for whatever reason, is always something that's helped me, and turning the water cold. And then the third thing was reaching out, and that's always been a struggle for me because I could have done that 3 days prior, but I, reached out to Cass and I reached out to you, and both of you guys, I said identically the same thing. And I was like, okay, well, now we have 2 people telling me I have a tail. I might have a tail. So,
or they're colluding.
What did you say to him? Yeah, I just, you can catch yourself, in the middle of spiraling back towards negative things, and negative patterns. The gateway to creating a more positive space for yourself. I always think about it like this, like the gateway, the door towards negativity is always open. You can always see the other side. And so like you might eventually start making your way back towards it. I don't think that door ever shuts.
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's way easier to look for negative stuff than it is to look for the silver lining or the one, the Jocko good moment where you're like, you know what, this bad thing happened or I'm having problems with this, but it maybe it affords you the opportunity to clear your mind and look for something new. I mean, I've noticed since we've been friends that, in the beginning, I mean, you've always bitten off more than you could chew every single time. And it doesn't matter in the moment what anyone says because it's you, it's what you're going to do. And, and I always watch and see, and like, even if I say things along the way, whatever, I still see you're like, you know what, I can still do it. And it's an excellent mindset to have. And now that the loop is getting shorter between realizing, oh crap, maybe I need to back up a little bit. Maybe I need to rethink this. I mean, that's all you can really ask for. So the tools developed are working and it's helping make that shorter so you don't have to, I mean, whatever, suffer for 3 days as opposed to 3 months or 3 years or 3 decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like.
It's funny that you say that too, because like that's what my note was. My note was like super it's not super depressive, man. It's just like real thoughts. My notes were, I feel so shitty right now. I feel like a burden to everybody around me. I've got kids running around me and I'm like, faking a smile in front of children, and it's like it fucking hurts, when you're doing that. But I know because I know only because I've been in it that it passes, and so it's like that, closing that circle, closing that spiral time, like that time frame that it takes to get from one point to the other. It's not like 7 fucking wraps around the toilet bowl. It feels like it's one sometimes,
Toilet bowl.
right around the toilet bowl. Spiral down.
Yeah. And like we've always been fundamentally different in that way. Just because you will continue taking more on and you usually get it all done. However, whatever way that works.
Sure.
I mean, almost always. You almost always come through with exactly what it is. And if it doesn't, it's very, very close. It's one step left or right of whatever you said. So it always ends up working. Where I've always been a little more timid in that sense because I'm afraid to disappoint people. So I'm only trying to take on what I know I can handle, which, is fine, but it's not always a good way to get forward as far as you should.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially now, like, I didn't help with the roof this weekend. I spent family time, which I needed to do since we've been working this other shift. Like it's always only a week, but like,
right. No, it still wears on you, especially when you have a
things
routine.
change so fast in a week having a child. So it's, so it was a choice I had to make. It wouldn't have been a choice I would have made before. I would have made the time to get in here and help. But like I said, that's always, it ends up making you choose. Sometimes you have to choose the other.
The Bad Project is about finding those small distractions that keep you moving when life tries to pin you down. That's what our gear stands for. They're reminders you can wear, carry, and share to push through those hard days. Every shirt, every hat, every sticker helps spread the message. When you're wearing it, you're not just buying our merch, you're backing the mission. We're building more than just a brand. As we roll out bad activity events, your support helps make them possible. With new drops, holiday specials, and surprises always around the corner, we really are just getting started. If you want to go even deeper, hit our new Patreon for Bad Thoughts episodes, bonus content, behind the scenes, and a closer seat in this community we're building. We're even doing giveaways. So check out the gear at thebadproject.com, hit our Patreon, and follow us on all the socials to stay locked in. This movement's only growing, and you're going to be a part of it. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. Love you all.
It's hard. It can be hard to balance your life in that way. But like I said, I'm just glad. I am glad that you saw it early enough on that you weren't stuck with these classes that you didn't even want to take, like right now in this moment.
it's funny too because I like English just started and psych hadn't even started yet. So really, what it was the math class that I was like, I learned from the school of hard knocks, and me or my children, if I have them, will not be taking a student loan. It just will not happen. I don't care what my potential child would want to do. The money's all getting paid for. Like I'm to the point now that I think it's because of my truck loan because I was so fucked with my credit
Mm-hmm.
that I had to take a truck loan at whatever 40% it was. Still don't know what it was. I could go back and do the math, but frankly, it's paid off now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know like anything that I need, I'm just going to pay outright for, or I don't need it.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
hey, you know what? You know what's interesting about that is when we grew up, the internet was starting to be a thing, but no one ever said like go learn, or no one ever taught us how to learn. They taught us how to memorize and how to do these things.
mhm,
So even now I can start this, and if you have a future child, you can start it as well,
mhm,
where you can try to inspire them to do it on their own. Find like do their own research, do their own stuff, because in this day and age, like don't get me wrong, it's great to go to a prestigious university or whatever and get a degree and do all that stuff, but it's not nearly as necessary as it used to be as long as you have the skills and the knowledge behind you, like
this,
at this point in time.
yeah,
So I think as long as you set your children or your even, now yourself up to focus on one particular set of things, know the branches of the tree, and then as you focus on that, you get to a certain point, and then you branch off for like a month or two onto something else, and then you branch off the other way. Maybe it's a opposing view of what you just,
yeah.
whatever you did. So as long as you have a good focus, I think that you don't really need it.
I think it's hard for me to say too because it's not like I spent 8 years in college and like
Mhm.
got to learn and do all like I'm sure there's benefits to that. There's people that could speak and like into way more intellectually than me, and like a lot of that probably came from schooling. But at the same time, when we talk about the internet, every bit of knowledge is out there.
Mhm.
Like, but when we talk about when you're talking about like have this like teach them to like learn the skills, part of that skill is going and doing that research and finding the credible sources
Mhm.
and learning off of that. You could learn history one way or the other.
Mhm.
And there's a factual way and there's an emotional way that things happened. Um, and I think that's where I'm at with my point. Like when you're saying, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it, but when you're saying, I don't fucking know, dude.
Well,
Lost today.
think about this. So like what you just said, there's people that are credible, frankly, whatever that means these days. Like, don't get me wrong, like there's definitely like that's definitely a thing. But if you start doing like, people always say history is written by the winners. So if you go through like we always did, we only learned the winning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we've already learned that. I don't remember most of it at this point. But if you go back and relearn that, and then you switch sources, go to the loser. What did the loser feel? And I'm not saying this gives you like more truth or less truth, but it makes you more well-rounded
Yeah.
to see like,
But there's two sides to every
yeah,
story.
because even if they're bad,
There's something to
go check it out just so that you can see like, you can see the other side and understand how they're feeling. Because like, I mean, take the wars recently in Iraq and Afghanistan. If they would have been coming to me, I would have been doing the same thing those fellas were doing.
mm-hmm.
Right or wrong, someone comes here, I'm an insurgent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, and again, I don't even really think those were just wars. But, all the same, if you dive into what everyone else was supposedly doing, I mean, granted, even the losers will make themselves look like heroes, but no one's a hero in that sort of conflict.
To me, there's something to learn on both sides. It's the same way that we try to learn from like going to the darkest places and the lightest places, right? Both sides of history, both sides of any story, both sides of any interaction between people. There's always the two sides to learn from. The learning is something that I don't think people do that's what I was trying to get at. When you're talking about like, we learned how to memorize, we learned, and that's like basically what I felt like as soon as I started school back up. It was like, learn how to flip the cards over and match them. And I was like, I don't feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm being told something to keep in your head. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to learn how the things work. And I think that's what kind of pushed me away. And then on top of it was the overwhelming things going on. And if there was something that I could stop from happening, like I had to pick the lesser of evils. What I'm doing isn't evil. Like nothing I'm doing, but like to put it in that point, the things that were causing me to feel so overwhelmed, I had to pick something out of there and eliminate it. I have a car Nate's working on in the driveway. I eliminated that. That's Nate's problem. He's out there working on putting together the engine. I didn't pay for it, but like he's out there working on it. And I kept trying to eliminate stuff. I couldn't eliminate the jobs and doing the best I can to like go out there with you guys and work and try to get it done faster. I couldn't do that. I can't eliminate the roof. There's another car on my dad's trailer that Nate has that we might be doing a bad giveaway once we're done with it. And that's coming to the house. But like, there's a lot of things that I had to like shove out of my mind. So my mental state was taking a hit because of everything I had going on. And the worst thing that was taking a hit was B.A.D. And I had already stated to you guys and everybody else, like I won't sacrifice this because I want it to help myself and I want it to help everybody else around me. And it puts me in a good spot. It puts me, it makes me happy to try and push and do things that are going to better other people. And we're not to the point where we're able to throw on events yet. We're not to that, like we're getting there. But I wasn't willing to sacrifice this. So instead of me paying, $3,500 for 3 classes or whatever this semester, if I get I'll get some of my money back, but if I get everything back, then I'm going to just buy all the books that I possibly can. Anything that I possibly can for it. And however else, it's going to, the way I thought about it was, I spent the money to try and further my education. I'll still spend the money to try and further the education, but in my way. And I'll figure out what that path is.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never liked traditional classrooms.
I hate them.
So like, there's this dude that I like to watch on YouTube, Fat Electrician. He does mostly, it's all history. It's really all American history is what he likes. And it's war history for the most part. I mean, he's done postal service. He's done some other things. Anyway, I heard him talking about being in class, and it was like, I think 20% of his grade was test, and the other 80% or whatever was being able to argue points, which I don't know where he's going to school, but I think that's way more interesting to be able to use the information. You know what I mean? As opposed to just writing stuff down or, reading over it, writing it as a note, remembering it for the test.
About the fact that I feel like every crew's got that one guy who shows up late, drinks gas station mud, and wonders why he feels like trash by lunch. Don't be that guy. Construction Coffee Co. isn't cheap sludge. It's small batch coffee roasted to keep you moving when everyone else is crying about their backs. Smooth enough to sit black, strong enough to keep you upright when your foreman's breathing down your neck. Fuck that guy. And yeah, they've got gear too. Shirts, hats, workwear built tough enough for the job site, not that pajama junk your apprentice wears. This stuff actually holds up when you're crawling through mud or hanging steel. They're there for you to roast beans and roast you, just like you do with your buddies on the job, because that's the culture. Talk trash, laugh hard, and get it done. Construction Coffee Co. Clock in, drink up, shut up. Go to constructioncoffeeco.com to get yours. I'm dropping out. Like that's the emotional thing that I have to get over. I feel like I'm giving up. I had a long couple fucking hard days of feeling like I was really backtracking. Like my body was right back to it. I couldn't go for a walk outside. It was hard for me to get up in the morning. Using the tools that I've had helped me get out of it, helped me get through it faster. Now, the only reason that I'm able to get through it faster is because I started at day one of rolling the fuck out of bed and doing a push-up. Now, that's not everybody's day one by any means.
And those aren't everybody's tools.
Yeah. So when we talk about tools and stuff on here, when we talk about like we were doing red and green notebooks, like when we were talking about all of these tools, it's not just ones that help us, you know, like I don't know everything that's going to help everybody else, but we just consistently offer more information and consistently work through things to show people like this isn't just like I'm trying to really dial in exactly what we're doing on this podcast, right? And it's not just to sit here and say, hey, this is what you should do. Hey, this is what you shouldn't do. Like it's legitimately for me to come in and say that the last few days were fucking like some of the hardest in the last year for me. And I don't know if it's because we're at that year anniversary of Gordy's death and stuff too. Like that was fucking hard on all of us. And that hit this last Sunday. But it also felt like I was overwhelming myself with all of the projects that I have going, all trying to better not just myself. Like my goal for this is to better my entire friends and family along the way. And Nate said it, or actually Brody said it in a very funny way. He was over helping out with stuff the first day. The second day he was supposed to work. And they're like, no, why don't you take the day off? Well, he's working with all of his cousins and stuff. And he was telling his cousins what we're doing and this and that. And they're like, oh, man, he doesn't even sound like a con man. And Brody's like, no, he's not a con man. He's like, and they're like, he sounds like Adam Sandler. Like he just wants to like bring up all of his friends. And I was like, hey, that's it. And now that I'm saying that in a funny way, I'm wearing the Happy Gilmore jersey. So
it's all coming together.
It's all coming together. But yeah, I just, it's to show people that it doesn't matter what you see. Like if you saw me the last, week or whatever outside of this place, you'd think I was doing totally fine, but I was fucking rough. And it took me a minute to get through that and be able to open up to the people around me because I know that that's a good tool. I know it's a good tool to reach out and ask for help. And I wasn't in a suicidal state. But there are times where I feel like giving up all the time. But I don't because I know what it's like to give up too. And that's the scariest thing to me now is giving up. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way.
Yeah. 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 It's definitely, I mean, I usually run into it once a week where I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. It's like usually it's a good reset for me because then I get to find something that it's like, oh yes, here we are. This is why.
Yeah.
And usually it's when I get home and I see my kid. It's usually the best reminder for me, whether I was going to make a bad choice before I got home or, whatever the case may be. That's usually a good reset for me. It's not always because sometimes she's pretty grumpy, especially recently. But, it's my biggest thing that I see where I'm like, hell yeah. And then that gets me more motivated because I help her every day. So why can't I do that with other people? Not sure I'm qualified, but I'm going to do it anyway. And, and that's like, even on a small scale, that's like, holding the door for somebody or saying thank you or being like, do you need help with that? Like that's a big thing because we run around so much in our own lives and get mad at people because they're in your way or they're struggling or whatever, when you could just say, hey, do you need help with that? And usually they say no because there's a weirdo stranger asking for help or asking if they want help.
Weirdly, though, it's like I was talking about on the last episode, bringing people back down to earth. And I feel like that does. I feel like when you interrupt somebody's day in the middle of them thinking and you hold the door for them, like, first of all, it feels good on your behalf. You're doing it selfishly. But you're also doing it to help the person. Like, you're doing it. Like, to me, it's like I was raised like I know I should hold the door for somebody right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything else otherwise. Doing those small little acts of favor, it's holding a door. It's like I'm not giving them the $1 million they need to have some kind of peace for the hour before they blow all of their money.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, this whole podcast deal. The reason that it's kind of hard to get on sometimes is because I have to be, I feel like I have to be in a place that I'm productive for other people, and that's not always the case. And that's why I told you, like, no matter what, I got to record tomorrow. It doesn't matter how I feel. And we can go into like how poor men's mental health is and this, but it's all mental health all around. Like, nobody knows, not nobody, a lot of people struggle with what to do next, what to do when you're in a spot of where you're going to give up. And I don't know the best option for it for everybody, but mine has always been just doing one small thing. Like, just doing one small thing to break up all of the noise for 10 seconds. And I hope that that's a big tool that people can use.
Well, I think, I know we're all in maybe on different days or whatever, which it's probably always going to be that way because we're going to fail or not fail at different points of it. But, I guess today is my first day of the B.A.D operation.
Oh, me and Cass's too.
Since I failed last time. And I'd made a post about it last night for today. But yeah, it's kind of like it really, that whole thing is doing the next little small thing because you're just adding little bits as you go along, through the process of doing it and the journaling, to help you be clear and concise about what you've done, what you're adding potentially, and how your day went. I think it'll be a good thing, and I'm like, honestly, probably gonna fail, whether I'm gonna forget or whatever the case may be.
The beginning is really hard to just remember.
Well, yeah, because you have to,
it's like a whole new structure that you're jumping into, but it's like the most simple structure to have to like jump into.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Cass were like day 4 and forgot, but we previously were at like day 97 when we were in Colorado.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was like, it sucked that we failed, but what a decent spot to fail at. Like, it was very difficult for the 4 days we were there, to go on 6-mile hikes and then come back and do 50 burpees and like, but we consistently did it. We just forgot to meditate. We thought we did, but that was you
forgot to clear your mind.
Yeah.
But you know what ended up happening, which I won't even say is a bad thing, is your plate was clear.
Yeah.
And then you could just enjoy your vacation.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing. Don't get me wrong. Like, being able to do both is great. It's kind of hard to work out up there if you're not from there. You're not used to it.
It was difficult.
So
it was difficult the first day when I had elevation sickness too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, every burpee I did, I was like, I'm not going to make it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to make it. I made it.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it just seems like I mean, yeah, like you said, no better place for it to happen. But then, yeah, you got like you failed, sure, but you're in this beautiful place. You get to finish enjoying your vacation
Yeah.
before you come home, and you don't have to put those restrictions, or not even restrictions, but you don't have to put that discipline right back on yourself. But you've already been doing it so long that there's residual discipline that's going to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
And at least maybe you don't make like maybe you don't eat a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Maybe you still kind of are sticking to your diet a little bit and you're doing that. And like the residuals, I think, are important enough that even though, you lost your days, then you just restart again. And then
Well,
here it is.
the fun thing about coming up with a bad operation is that we just came up with it. Like, it's not something that's been tested by a bunch of people yet.
Mm.
And that's what we're looking for, insight from people to just start day one. Try it out. Try out day two. Like, just give it a week. See what you think of it.
Mhm.
If anybody has any like dire complaints about it, let me know. For the
Mhm.
most part, they're probably excuses, because
Mhm.
a lot of everybody else who started it, all of our friends, have come to me on like day 4 and they're like, I just don't get this. I'm like, it's very simple. And then I explain it to them and they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, you knew that. You're just, it's just funny how we try to make the little excuse of not going with it. But
Well, the thing is, too, it's like it's almost so simple.
Yeah.
That if you think about it too hard, then
it gets complicated.
real
Yeah.
quick.
That's really what it was. Like,
You're like, well, what do you mean by that?
yeah, I mean, you literally
exactly
you
what's
literally
there.
go do a one push up. You go do one sit up. And it's funny when everybody started asking me questions like that, like, how do we do this? I was like, you're overcomplicating it.
Mhm.
Almost like, I won't mention who, but like, it was a month and then another month and another month. And I could tell he never even started. He's like, I just don't get it. And I was like, what do you not get? Like, let's talk it through so you can do it if you want to do it. And then we just got down to the fact that he didn't want to do it. I was like, well, wait a minute. All you have to do is just do this. Well, we can do it right now.
Mhm.
Well, no, I just don't. And I was like, no, what you just don't is want to do it. And that's okay too. It's okay to not want to do it. You just came to me and you asked me for some help with something. And I was like, hey, you need some more routine in your life. Just try this.
Mhm.
Like, because even if it doesn't develop the routine for you to do these tasks, it at least allows you, if you get 14 days into it, you realize that you could add something small that you really need to do and want to do
Mhm.
incrementally every single day. You could do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can create another routine for yourself.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and I think initially, I mean, everyone's going to enter this at a different spot, like
Yeah.
whether it be your fitness level or this. If your fitness level is so high and you don't want to do one push-up, then don't add that task. Start with skill building, or start with the other parts of the program, so that work on the things that you're not doing, not the things you're already doing. If you can do 100 burpees in, my record is 9 minutes and 36 seconds. That was when I was in really good shape. So right now doing 10 feels a little bit tougher. I mean, for whatever
burpees
reason.
destroy me.
I know.
I love them, but they destroy me.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like, what's funny is it never, when I came up with a bad operation, when I first started thinking about it, it was never a complete fitness plan. Like, it was never a complete mental plan. It was to get people to do what they need to do and want to do.
Mhm.
And don't give themselves the time for it. And so if you're already working out, you're already doing a bunch of stuff like physically, and you're in that state, it's not hard. It's not going to be hard for you. But it's not meant to be hard for you. It's meant to build a routine.
Mhm.
It's meant to give you time management. It's meant to show you that you can add things to your plate every day and it doesn't get overwhelming, as long as you're adding things that are benefiting you.
Yeah.
And then journaling on top of it. And journaling is something that I wish everybody did every day. I wish I did it every single day because it really does help.
Yeah, it's still something I've thought about, and I won't remember all of the things, but I think, like my grandma, my dad's mom, I think, and maybe my mom's mom too. I don't remember at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that from the age of 15 to 18, they have pretty much their entire life written somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I don't even know if that. I guess whatever you write is journaling.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish that I would have had the foresight when I was younger to realize that to be able to look back on when I was younger and what I was feeling, which I'm sure was just a bunch of nothing, but it was also real to me at the time.
Yeah.
And so I mean, yeah. I think the journaling might be the coolest, like the best part, and it's gonna be hard for me because I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
I don't like writing down stuff about my day. I like to forget about my day, good or bad. Like,
Yeah. Move on to the next
we're on
day.
to the next one.
My the fun thing about journaling is it literally can be anything you want. It can be doodles, it can be whatever. Me and Chris talked about it. He kept talking about writing a book for his kids. Like, you couldn't write a more perfect book for them to get to know who you actually are
Mm-hmm.
than journaling. And then we talk about our book was The Art of Exceptional Living, and it's like the things that Jim Rohn says that you need to that get left behind
Mm-hmm.
is your library, your journals, and photos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, truthfully, that's all we have.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that I know who have loved ones and stuff, and all of the photos are locked inside of a phone. Like, granted, photos can get burned up in a fire or whatever, and I get that, but like, journaling can be absolutely anything. And for the people who aren't, for when you're not here anymore, there's no better way. I don't know.
I mean, that's how all of human history has been passed down.
Right. I know.
Really.
And it's like, but my brain immediately goes into, man, they're going to read everything personal. But then I'm like, I don't care. I talk about everything I have problems with anyways in order to help people. And so if people need to read my personal diary in order to do that, they're not going to find a shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not going to find gold,
Mm-hmm.
but I might say something that's going to help somebody. And more than that, it's literally just a tool to help me. I almost, at least for me when I'm journaling, I'd say about 70% of the time, I'm working through something random.
Mm-hmm.
A random thought that I had that day. It's never about my day. It's always like, sometimes, like I said, like 30% of the time, I'm like, what a shit day. This is how I got through it. Oh, what a shit day. I can't. I'm going to bed. I don't even want to journal, but I'll still write that down. And then I'll have some thought, and then I try to work out that thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that benefits me more than anything. The power of being able to work through thoughts that you have and concepts like that really helps.
The magic of mindful self-awareness. That's been my favorite thing I've read so far, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you started listening to Endurance?
Not yet.
So if anybody wants a jump start, and I mean anybody, I mean the 4 listeners. We love you. It also might be me replaying it on my TV. I haven't done that yet, but I did it once. It's a lie. Yeah, we're starting Endurance. And Alfred Lansing, who's the author. Fucking A, that's a good book. It's a way better audiobook. I mean, it's probably a good book. I've never actually read the book. I've only listened to the audiobook. I'm re-listening to it. And the story behind it is just wild. The story behind the men, the base of it is they were heading towards the South Pole to be the first ones to be there. I think it was in 19, it was after the, I don't remember, after the First World War. But they were heading down there, and then the ship got stuck in the ice, and then it got picked up basically by icebergs and rolled and eventually sank. And there's just like a crew of men trying to make it back to safety, which is hundreds of miles away in Antarctica. Yeah, in Antarctica. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So this is between World War I and II.
I believe so, because he talks about the fact that he was very hesitant. Shackleton. It's his story. He's a survivor. But he talks about his shift back and forth, the dilemma he was having because World War I had started. So I think it was in the middle of World War I. I
So
want
like-
to, for
so like
whatever reason,
35 or 30s, early 30s then,
yeah.
because I think there was only like 10 years difference between 1 and 2.
Why did I think he said 1918? That might be the first attempt that they
I
had.
mean, there was a war in 1918, I believe.
What?
War of 1918.
That one. All right, I don't know. Anyways,
I
that's
think
our
it's
next.
1912.
That's our
I'm
next
thinking
book.
of.
So, in like 3 days, we'll do our giveaway for whoever liked or commented and stuff on any of the posts.
Mhm.
And then next month we'll give away endurance.
Ooh-wee.
So, are we good on this?
Yeah.
I'm struggling, dude. All right,
We're over.
okay. Love you all. Like, subscribe, just share our stuff. That's really
That's all we can ask.
That's all I can ask from anybody. It's all Matt can ask from anybody. It's all Chris can. Anybody, just share our stuff if it resonates to you.
Or you think it might resonate to someone else.
Specifically that. You know, I made a email newsletter and I made sure to put that in. It feels weird to share stuff. It still feels weird for me to share stuff. But ultimately that's what helps knowledge get passed along. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Love you guys.